Hey everybody, I'm Average. Welcome back to the Beginner's Guide on Bun. And in today's episode, we're going to be looking at two concepts. The first one being environment variables, and the second, making requests to external services such as a REST API. And we're going to be doing that with fetch. So we have our project here with our server, with routing, and we also have our argument parsing here. Now, I'm going to go into environment variables. Feel free to skip this part if you have already worked with them or know why they're used, but I'm just going to run through it quickly for those of you who don't know. Environment variables are a sort of configuration, and they're used for three main reasons, in my opinion. The first one being avoiding hard-coding strings or literal data in your code. This allows us to modify the data, and we don't have to recompile or rerun our project. Number two, typically in a project, we're going to have an environment file, which is usually .env. This is almost always excluded in a Git repo in the .git ignore. The reason being, this is where we're going to be storing sensitive information that we want to keep isolated to our development environment or our production server. And number three, environment variables go beyond just a file. You can set up environment variables in your CLI as well, and this makes deploying applications super easy because you never even have to touch a file to modify an environment variable. You can do it simply in Bash or whatever TTY you're using. Okay, so how do we actually get environment variables set up, and why are we using them in today's video? To get them set up, we can make a .env. Conventionally, if we also have this repository public facing and we want other people to be able to use it, we would have a .env.example, and this won't be Git ignored. The reason being, this is where we're going to have our placeholder environment variables so people know what to configure when they're running our app. So as you can see here, I have an API key and I have a weather API base. Both of these are going to be populated in our .env, but for the sake of the .env.example, we just need placeholder values. So we're going to copy these over to a .env, just like so. In Bun, there's a few different scopes you can use for environment variable files, that being .env, .env.local, .env.development, .env.production, and .env.test. And all of them will be used in varying environments based on what you're doing. For the sake of today's video, we're just going to keep it simple and make a .env file. Bun will automatically parse and read this. So if I go here and I go to our console.log where we're saying we started our web server, we can also output another variable, and this is going to be our API key. And as you can see there, we have example_key, which is directly from our .env. We don't actually want to expose any sensitive information. Avoid doing this entirely. But what we are going to expose is our weather API base. What's that? Well, in today's episode, we're also going to be using weatherapi.com. It's a free, super simple API for fetching weather data on a specific area. So make sure you sign up and get your API key because we're going to be using it in this video if you want to follow along. If you aren't following along, that's okay. You don't need to do this. Either way, once you have your API key, put it inside of here for your API_key. I'm not going to do that just yet, but you should right now. The reason I'm not going to be putting it here is because I don't want to expose my API key to you guys. What we are going to do, however, is head over to the docs and go to the request section. We're going to copy this base URL and put it inside of our weather API base. And like we did earlier, we replaced our API key environment variable with weather API base. So now when we reload our Bun server, you'll notice we get our base weather URL right here. I've cut ahead after I've put my API key inside of our environment file. So the next thing we're going to be doing here is making a new route, and we're going to say /current weather. Make sure you're putting a slash at the beginning of your routes, otherwise Bun will complain. Next, we're going to be doing a post request because we do want our actors to be able to pass data to our endpoint. For the sake of getting rid of all these squiggly lines, I'm going to return a response.json, and we're just going to do an empty object. So we're going to head over to the API docs, and we're just going to check out what kind of endpoints they actually offer. For today's video, we're going to be using this current weather one at /current.json. So to request from this endpoint, we literally just add /current.json to our base URL. Pretty simple. Also, up here, it explains authentication. It's simply a query parameter of key, and then we pass in our API key. Super simple. So for our current weather endpoint, we're actually going to do a few things. The first thing we're going to do is check if our environment variables exist at all. So we can do this by nodding both of those. If either of those return false, then we know that they're not populated, and we can throw an error. We'll give the actor a message of weather API has not been configured on the service, and we're going to throw a status code of 500 indicating that there was an internal server error. In this case, it makes sense to use this status code because the server is misconfigured. The next thing we're going to do is check if we're getting a request.body. We can do a similar thing and check if it's false. For this, we're going to be returning a message of a JSON body must be provided along along with a status code of 400. A 400 status code indicates a bad request. And in this case, because the user hasn't provided any data, it is a bad request. Now we can actually get our JSON payload by doing const data equals await request.json. This will parse our JSON body for us. Next, we're going to see if the data has a query field at all. And if it doesn't, we're going to return another message and we're going to say field query must be provided. This is also going to be a status code of 400. So now when we're making the request, we need to have a query parameter present in the data body. Next up, we want to assemble the parameters that we're going to be using for our URL. These will be our query parameters to tell the API what we want to do. In our case, we want to pass off the API key as a key, as was indicated in the docs. Now, if we head over to the request parameter section, we'll notice a key parameter is required, and we'll see all the different things that we can query. We can do longitude and latitude, we can do a city name, a US zip code, anything we'd like to fetch the weather data of that area. Regardless though, we do need that queue parameter. So we're going to say queue data.query. Now that we have our parameters object built, we can make a new const called query string, and we can say new URL search parameters, pass in our parameters, and cast it to a string with a .toString. The reason why we're doing this is because we want to add it on to our URL. We can make another variable called query URL, and this will be a simple interpolated string where we're going to pass in the weather API base / current.json, add a question mark, and then we're also going to put in our query string. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to make another variable for our response. This is where we're going to use await fetch. And the first parameter that we're passing is just a query URL. Then we can pass a object, and this is going to be for our request options. Here we can do something like the HTTP action. We can put get, post, whatever we want. If we put post, we can do a body, and we can supply JSON data through that. But because this API only uses get endpoints, I won't be showing that off in today's video, but know that it's there. Something else we can do is add a headers object, and this is going to be a key value pair for any kind of header you want to send over. That could be authentication, that could be a user agent, and in our case, that's going to be a content type application/JSON. Now for this specific API, this isn't required, but I figured it's something I did want to mention because headers are often used throughout web development, so you probably will use them at some point. Now that we have our response, we want to get our response data. We can do that by doing await response.json. This will parse the JSON payload that we're receiving after giving the request. And we're just going to pass that back to the user in our return response.json. Now, if we open up something like Postman, or in my case, this is going to be Bruno, we can set up our endpoint. So I have here HTTP localhost 3000, and we're going to be doing the current weather endpoint. Make sure you have this set to post, otherwise it won't work. First, let's try this without any body at all. And as you can see here, we get message, a JSON body must be provided, along with a 400 status code. Now let's actually give it a body, so we can go to the body tab and go to JSON, and we're just going to do an empty body. As you can see, we get that other error message, field query must be provided. So let's do that. Give it query, and then we can say something like Paris. And as you can see, we'll get the location's weather data. We can do something else like a zip code, and we'll get that weather data as well. What if we do something that the API doesn't recognize? Well, we're going to get an error with a code of a 1006. So I'm actually going to copy that as a comment. You don't need to do this, just so I have it as a reference, because we are going to have a conditional message that gets sent out if this error is received. So let's say if response data.error, and that means we are getting an error because the error field is present in the response data. Otherwise, this won't trigger. Now that we know there's an error, let's capture the error code by doing const error code equals response data.error.code. I am going to be using a switch statement for this for the sake of expandability, but we're actually only going to be making one conditional here, and that's if the case is 1006, because we know that that matches the no matching location found for our query. Inside of here, I can just return another response.json with the message being location not found, and we're going to give it a status code of 404. For those of you who don't know, a 404 typically indicates that the resource was not found. Now when we go to Bruno and we make that same request, you'll get location not found. And that's all I'm going to be showing off in today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and let me know what you're thinking about Bun so far. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have yourself a great day. Bye.